Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started. To bring the jury back on in. You may be seated. With Mr. Buxton. Mr. Buxton, you may take the witness stand again. Let the record reflect that we're back in session of cause number 324-160, State of Texas versus Cleavon Demetrius Buxton. Mr. Buxton is present in the courtroom with his attorney, Mr. Jansen Bailey and Mr. Corey Crenshaw. State is present with Assistant District Attorney, Ms. Julie Maxey and Mr. Raymond Shearer. Let the record reflect that the jury is now present in the courtroom and the witness, Mr. Buxton, Mr. Alton Buxton, is on the witness stand. Ms. Maxey, you may proceed.
Thank you. Mr. Buxton, your testimony today is that you were driving the vehicle that night, is that correct?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd like to play Exhibit 3 for the jury at this time.
Okay. Deputy Monk.
Hey. Do what? Options for the driver. $45 to $139. Hey, I'm gonna have Denise can transport the passenger. Respond to our location here at Old Sour Lake in front of the Meeker rail yard or Amelia rail yard.
Did you get my return yet?
He's probably not gonna want to do any SFST offered to him.
manual for traffic, 2020.
So, afford an opportunity to comply with the request of the SFSTs and go with it from there. Yeah, he was speeding right over here. He said he'll take the passenger. Y'all have any idea where y'all are at? Y'all a long way from where y'all are almost in China.
I'm sorry. It was right, man. Chill, man.
Okay.
Because the son never worked things well. Right, my little brother, it's just mental, man. Yeah.
And that.
Yeah. I mean, he can't tell me he's got mental issues. Like, you know what I'm saying? I run my little brother, he's talking tonight, so I got to work.
Got mental issues.
Not mental, but he's like, look, I'm at work, he's talking and shit. Like, somebody draw it down, shit, so he's right talking and stuff.
Y'all right in the middle of nowhere though.
Yeah. Yeah, we was riding and talking. You know what I'm saying? That's how we go.
Where do y'all live at?
BSG.
BISD.
Yeah.
Is that who you work for?
Yeah, I'm a coach and teacher.
Oh, which school?
Me, elementary.
Okay. Who's the principal there now?
We got a new principal this year. It was first we got a new principal. I can't find her name. It was first we got a new principal there.
So Miss Hancock's not there?
Hancock is gone. Man, that's a sad point. We have been Hancock in the coop for so long, and the kids stuff, man, so long. But can we do the basketball, everything else?
Yeah.
And my little brother, man, played. That was all guaranteed person. Yeah.
Well, I hate this is gonna happen to y'all. Well, I need you to turn around and put your hands behind your back, okay?
What it is.
You're under arrest for public intoxication. Still, don't fall over. We are parked in the middle of the road. Yes, sir, we'll put an extra pair on you. I can't let you do that right now. I'll lock this so they don't tighten up.
Yeah, that's my little brother.
No, yeah, talk to him right now.
This dog, man.
Do what now?
I was asleep, man. I wasn't even driving.
I understand. Let's go back over here to this car right here so we get out all these lights.
Did you mention that you weren't driving that night?
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I was going to.
I object, Your Honor. That's not what he said. He said, I was asleep, I wasn't driving. He didn't say he wasn't driving at all that night as a prosecutor.
Okay, what's your objection?
My objection is that she, the way she phrased that, she misphrased what was said in the video.
Objection sustained. Okay.
Mr. Buxton, did you say to the police officer that you were asleep, you weren't even driving?
I was asleep.
Did you say that to the
Yes.
police? Had you been driving?
Yes, I was driving.
So were you lying to the police that night?
At the time, I ain't gonna go to jail.
So you were lying to the police.
I hadn't gotten past the seat.
And you were lying to the police that night. Do you expect us to believe you're telling the truth today?
I'm sober today.
And you've had how long to think about what you were gonna say today? Mr. Cleavon Buxton is your brother, is that correct?
Correct.
You love your brother?
I like anybody, I work with people all day long.
Did you do anything for your brother?
Not anything.
Did you say you were driving that night, correct?
No, I wouldn't.
That's your testimony today, though, isn't it, that you were driving? And you said earlier that Mr. Buxton was very particular about his car and who drove it, isn't that correct?
Yes.
And you said you drank Hennessy, you closed the bar down, you came back to your friend's house and you drank more, correct?
We drink Hennessy, got up to the house.
And you said that Cleavon didn't want to leave the house on Queen Street, isn't that correct?
Yes, he did.
But the jury is expected to believe that Cleavon Buxton let you drive his car completely intoxicated, a car that he's extremely particular about who drives it. But you were allowed to drive that night in your intoxicated condition, is that
I was the
correct?
one there to throw the car besides him. He ended up in my house and everything else.
You normally drive his car?
I had to keep, if I need to use my truck in the shop, let me use the car. I have a car truck, let me use it, but I'm not the one that drove the car.
That night, did you have the key on you?
I think he was in the center thing.
Are you sure about that?
I'm not sure. I think it was in the center console.
So it could have been somewhere else. Could it have been on your brother?
That was the key in the center console.
The key was in the center console, you're sure about that? When you, when the sheriffs arrived, who was operating the vehicle?
Nobody was asleep.
The car was just magically being operated by itself.
It was asleep.
At the time, did you have the key on you?
He was should have been in the center.
Did you have access to the brakes, the steering wheel, the gear shift, the ignition, anything like that?
At that time.
You were the passenger. Pass the witness, Ron.
Mr. Crenshaw?
Thank
Do you have
you,
any more
Your
questions?
Honor. Mr. Buxton, prior to that night, had you in your life ever been arrested before?
No, sir.
Did you know exactly how to act and what to do in that
No, sir.
circumstance?
I've been arrested.
At one point, and I hate to mention this, sir, because I know this is embarrassing. At one point, we saw and heard you crying in that video.
I've never been arrested. Once those handcuffs get put on, I mean, no matter what it's like, it came hard to breathe and stuff, and sitting in that truck, you slide, it's a different road. It is, I mean, until it happens to you.
Understood, sir. Earlier, you stated on the video, I was asleep, I wasn't even driving. Tell the jury exactly what you meant when you said that to the officer.
We went to sleep. I flew to Toscade. He down the phone, said somebody pick us up, so somebody pick us up. And out there, I'm put my eyes next to the police showing up. We was the same location. We gotta use restroom. And the reason I pulled over to the side because I didn't want to scratch the car in the high grass, get stuck. It's been raining like it's a lot of mud out there. So that's why I pulled over to the side. I mean, because one time he put a little nick on his car and then watch it break return. He had a hissy fit about it. So I didn't want to mess his car up.
And earlier, sir, you stated that when Cleavon called to get a ride, that y'all then went to sleep, and you were asleep for approximately how long?
I feel real rested.
All right, so over an hour, does that sound right? And in that entire time, you were asleep.
Yeah.
And then later on this charge, did you pay a fine for your arrest that night?
Yes.
That's what.
Ms. Paxton?
Mr. Buxton, you're a coach and a teacher, is that correct?
Yes.
Would you say that you're a role model for your students? And the kids at your
Objection, Your
school?
Honor. That's irrelevant and badgering the witness.
Sustain.
Mr. Buxton, you admitted that you lied to the police that night, is that correct?
At the time.
Is that what you would teach your students to do?
Same objection, Your Honor.
Sustain.
Pass the witness.
Nothing further.
Okay. Ms. Maxey, you have anything further?
Nothing further.
Okay, may this witness be excused? No, may this witness be excused, Ms. Maxey?
Yes, Your Honor.
Crenshaw? Yeah, you could throw, well, he was gonna throw them away. There's a trash, should be a trash can nearby. And Mr. Buxton, make sure you not talk to anyone about your testimony here today. And do not read any newspapers or look at anything on the news. Only person you talk to about your case is your attorney or the attorney. All right, you may be excused. Mr. Crenshaw, you have another witness?
I think I do, Your Honor. If we could take a short break. I'm
Okay.
sorry, I wasn't anticipating.
Oh, that's fine. We'll be in recess, ladies and gentlemen, jury. Now, does anyone need any coffee or anything? Okay, if you do, just let us know.
This will be our last witness, Your Honor.
Okay, just follow the bill.